This question says forces acting on object 1 combine to give a net force of 10 newtons. Forces acting on object 2 combine to give a net force of 50 newtons. Both objects have the same mass. Which of these statements is correct? And we are asked to select 2. Now, first we need to remember whenever they talk of a net force, like we have here a net force and a net force, we are talking of Newton's second law of motion. Newton's second law of motion, as a reminder, it says whenever there is a net force, there is an acceleration. The acceleration and the net force are directly related, meaning the more net force, the more acceleration, and are in the same direction. Moreover, Newton's second law of motion tells us when subject to the same net force, objects with more mass will accelerate less than objects with less mass. There is an inverse relationship between acceleration and mass. Now, in this case, we have the same mass, so we don't have to worry about the effect of the mass. But we have two different net forces, a 10 Newton force and a 15 Newton force here, acting on object 2. So let's try to check this out. So it says object 1 will accelerate more than object 2. That's not correct because object 2 is subject to a larger force than object 1, and since there is a direct relationship between acceleration and force, we know that object 2 should accelerate more. So this is not right, this is right. Now the third answer here says the object will accelerate in the direction of the net force. That's part of Newton's second law of motion statement, which is that the acceleration and the net force are always in the same direction. So these are the answers we should choose.